The truth is we are this one giant relationship. We are this one creation, each a part of each other. We're not separate. Inside of that idea, there is the ego's idea, and the ego has this idea of specialness. So the ego is constantly judging. That's what it does, even though it doesn't really have the capacity to judge accurately. Or another way to say that, each of us are constantly judging, but we're judging from this perspective, this tiny little being in this tiny little point of space and time with very little information. We're only seeing from this tiny place from one direction. Our perspective is very limited, but we think we know what's true and what's right and what's real. And the way we distinguish between each other is by judging or valuing. And so we place higher or lower values in our judgment. So judgment is binary. It's either good or bad, right or wrong, more or less. And so we're always doing that with each other and everything, every situation, every experience. That's what's happening in the ego mind. The Course says in that process, we create specialness. We try to make ourselves special. So if you're special, you're separate. And we each want to think of ourselves as special. In the Course, it says no one is special and everyone is special. We are special together, but we are not special relative to each other. And so, but the ego wants to make special. It also does this in relationships. The ego, most of the time, is judging everything as less in some way than us. We're making ourselves special. So it's projecting negative image out there, and then it's looking for a handful of people, just a couple, to make special with it, to not really find union, but to form an alliance. Ego looks to form alliances in the illusion. And as you know, alliances don't last. It will temporarily find specialness. You know, our wife, our husband, whatever, our best friend, whoever, our family, we may make special relationships. And the problem with special relationships is it generates more separation. So it's like, I'm separate of everything else. You and me are separate of everything else together. And so that's a problem because it's not true. And it creates a lot of pain and suffering. And so we maintain the alliance until somebody doesn't give us what we want. The moment it looks like they're not going to give us what we projected onto them, like they were capable of giving us, once we start saying they're not really capable of giving us that, because nobody can give it to you. And what we're looking for is specialness, or, you know, and what we're truly looking for is love, but nobody can give that to you. It's self-generated. It's in you to give. And so once we start to recognize this person or these people, this group, whatever, can't give that to us, we then start to attack, to separate ourselves from them, and then move on to the next one, the next person, the next group, the next situation, right? Specialness is enemy to the truth of you. Specialness is not true. And to the ego, that feels like an attack. What do you mean I'm not special? Because the ego loves its autonomy. It wants to be separate. In order to heal this, you have to just let go of the specialness and ask to see the truth in the one before you. And this is particularly important and particularly difficult with the one you're struggling with, or the one you're judging, you know, the one that's upsetting you, whoever that one is today or was yesterday. And it could be somebody close to you. It could be somebody you ran into in the store. It could be the current president or the last one or whoever. The Course is saying, ask to see the truth in them, and you will find the truth in yourself. Whatever we're seeing in the other is a projection of what we have judged inside. Last thing I'll say is the Course says all judgment is self-judgment projected outward. And so it doesn't feel like that, but that upset that you have and that derogatory word you might use to describe that person, that group, or that situation that's upsetting you is actually pointing at you. So, you know, that idea, you got one finger pointing out there, you got these three pointing back at you. We're doing it to ourselves in a much greater magnitude. We don't get it. And so our freedom lies in finding the truth over there, which will wake up the truth within ourselves. So we'll see the truth in ourselves.